The child I foster has a silent signal for danger, and she used it when her biological father appeared at our church. Maisie's hand found mine during the opening hymn. At first, I thought she was being affectionate. She did that sometimes, reached for my hand or my wife's hand when she felt safe, but then her fingers moved in that specific pattern. 3 quick squeezes, 1 long press. Every muscle in my body went rigid. I looked down at her 7-year-old face, that blank mask from her intake photos, the one that said she had gone somewhere deep inside herself. I followed her gaze across the sanctuary of Grace Community Church, past the rows of families in their Sunday best, past Pastor Elijah at the pulpit, until my eyes landed on a man I had only seen in court documents and a single mugshot. Raymond Voss was standing near the back door, crisp blue button-down shirt, like he belonged here. He was supposed to be in state prison for another 3 years, but there he stood, 40 feet from the child he had nearly destroyed, smiling like he'd just come home. I'd been fostering children with my wife Denise for almost 6 years when Maisie arrived. A caseworker carried her through our door. We'd had 11 kids before her, some for weeks, others for over a year. I thought I understood what trauma looked like in children. Maisie taught me I knew nothing. She was 6 when she came to us, small for her age, tangled brown hair, eyes that never quite focused on anything. Her file was one of the worst I'd ever read. Pages of documented abuse spanning her entire short life. Medical reports describing injuries no child should have. Her biological mother died of an overdose when Maisie was 4. Left her alone with Raymond Voss, a man who should never have been allowed near children. By the time police responded to a neighbor's report, Maisie hadn't spoken in over a month. The first 3 months were the hardest of my life. Denise and I took shifts at night. Maisie would scream in her sleep but never wake up, just thrash and cry until exhaustion took her. We learned to move slowly, announce ourselves before entering rooms, never raise our voices. Her therapist, Dr. Amara Okonkwo, worked with us to develop strategies. One was the signal. Dr. Okonkwo explained that severely abused children often lose the ability to speak when threatened. Their voices shut down as survival. She suggested a non-verbal way for Maisie to tell us she was in danger, something that felt like a secret power. We settled on the hand squeeze pattern, 3 quick, 1 long. We practiced until Maisie could do it without thinking. She had never used it before that Sunday morning. 8 months of slow progress. First words, first smiles, first nights without nightmares. She had never once needed to tell us she was scared, until now. I did not react visibly when I recognized Raymond Voss. Hardest thing I have ever done, keeping my face neutral, heart pounding. Vision narrowing to a tunnel focused on the man who had hurt my daughter. I use that word deliberately. Maisie was not legally my daughter yet, but she was mine in every way that mattered. I leaned down and whispered that I saw him too, that she was safe with me. She didn't respond, just kept squeezing my hand in that pattern, over and over, a distress signal on repeat. I caught Denise's attention, tilted my head toward the side exit, the one leading to the children's ministry hallway, away from where Voss was standing. Denise saw my expression, didn't ask questions. We shuffled out of the row, walked calmly, not rushing, not drawing attention. I felt his eyes on us the entire way. We made it to the parking lot. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely get the car keys. Denise strapped Maisie into her booster seat. I started the engine, locked all the doors. Maisie still hadn't spoken. Her eyes had gone glassy and unfocused. 8 months of healing, undone in an instant. I pulled out faster than I should have. Didn't stop checking the rear view until we were 3 blocks away. Then I called 911. The dispatcher transferred me to non-emergency. 15 frustrating minutes explaining the urgency to someone who kept asking me to spell Voss's name. They told me a detective would call back within 24 hours. I hung up and called Maisie's caseworker, Janet Blackwell. She answered on the 3rd ring, even though it was Sunday. I told her what happened. The silence on her end lasted too long. My stomach dropped. She said she would make some calls and get back to me within the hour. Her voice sounded strange, careful, like she was choosing words with unusual precision. 40 minutes later, my phone rang. Janet's name on the screen. I answered immediately. Before she could speak, I heard someone in the background talking to her in urgent tones. Then Janet said 4 words that made my blood run cold. Don't go home tonight. Full story is linked below or on my channel.